God's blessings to everyone. This is a DGHradio.com news and information news update for the United States Virgin Islands, and I'm reporter DKS reporting the news for Sunday, September 28th, 2025, covering the latest developments from across the United States Virgin Islands. We begin with the passing of a pillar of worker advocacy. Longtime labor leader Frederick Freddie Joseph has died at 81. Across decades, Joseph stood shoulder to shoulder with working families, negotiating safer job sites, better wages, and fair contracts. Colleagues remember a steady hand and a heart for justice that inspired younger organizers to step forward. Why this matters. Strong, principled leadership can change real lives at the job site and at the kitchen table, and it leaves a blueprint for the next generation of advocates. On the economy and tourism, the West Indian Company Limited has brought back Joseph Bosholt as President and Chief Executive Officer. The company projects a robust cruise season and is focusing on berth efficiency, passenger flow, and technology upgrades in finance and lease management. Community voices are watching closely to ensure growth translates into good local jobs and authentic cultural experiences for visitors. Why this matters? Decisions at the pier ripple to taxis, tour guides, small retailers, and family budgets across the territory. In the legislature, senators have advanced a measure to rename a St. Croix Park in honor of Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights, honoring the Quelby tradition and decades of mentorship. In a separate celebration of culture, officials awarded entertainer Dennis Pumpa Liberd the key to the territory and renamed a Christiansted roadway in his honor. Why this matters: naming public spaces for culture bearers lifts heritage into daily life, cultivating pride and opportunity for young artists. Turning to public safety and the courts, authorities on St. Croix arrested a 34-year-old man following a domestic violence incident, underscoring a zero-tolerance stance and the importance of survivor services. Police also apprehended a suspect tied to the 2023 armed robbery at Kings Alley, bringing relief to businesses and patrons who were shaken by that crime. In another case, detectives arrested a 29-year-old man accused of sexual assault of a minor. He remains in custody with an advice of rights hearing scheduled. Remember, charges are allegations until proven in court. Why this matters: consistent, thorough investigations restore confidence and protect the vulnerable. In legal developments shaping policy, a judge ruled that officers may not search vehicles based solely on the smell of cannabis, reflecting changes in local law and reinforcing constitutional protections. Separately, federal oversight of the Virgin Islands Police Department continues to track in a positive direction, with reforms around training, force review, and data systems showing progress. And at the appellate level, judges have fast-tracked arguments over whether prosecutors may seek capital punishment in a high-profile murder case, a decision that will define the bounds of federal charging power in the territory. Why this matters: clear rules for policing and prosecution safeguard rights, strengthen trust, and bring clarity to how justice is delivered here at home. On government finance, senators voted to reverse a previously approved 3% increase in employer contributions to the government employees' retirement system and to require legislative approval for future rate changes. Supporters argue this improves accountability. Critics warn about long-term solvency. Why this matters: pension decisions touch thousands of current and retired public servants and the stability of the territory's finances. Infrastructure and environment. The Waste Management Authority has temporarily resumed accepting sludge and other wastewater at selected sites following upgrades. Residents and haulers are asked to follow all guidelines as facility conditions continue to be evaluated. Meanwhile, marine scientists are sounding the alarm on coral bleaching across the region, tied to unusually warm seas, disease, and storm stress, threats that endanger fisheries, coastal protection, and tourism. Sports lovers are waiting on finishing work at several facilities as officials address contractor disputes and consider bonding remedies and new bids to keep fields and courts safe and playable. Why this matters. Dependable services, healthy reefs, and safe public spaces are the backbone of daily life, public health, and our visitor economy. Community and opportunity. Hundreds of residents turned out for a government-hosted job fair, meeting employers face-to-face and lining up interviews across sectors. The local Food and Farm Council will hold October town halls on all three islands to report progress on the agricultural plan and to gather ideas on land and water access, farm to school, and resilience. The University of the Virgin Islands is hosting a gathering to celebrate the contributions of the deaf community with sign language demonstrations and performances to build inclusion. And students are preparing a theatrical tribute to the 1878 labor uprising, connecting past struggles to present lessons. On St. Croix, the Women's Coalition marked the National Day of Remembrance for murder victims with a vigil focused on healing, prevention, and support for families. Why this matters: when neighbors connect in job halls, farm meetings, classrooms, theaters, and vigils, communities get safer, smarter, and stronger. A quick weather watch. Forecasters are monitoring multiple systems over the Atlantic. A powerful hurricane far out at sea is sending long-period swells toward our shores. Expect elevated surf, stronger than usual shore break, and an increased risk of rip currents, especially on northern and eastern exposures. Small crafts should use caution as seas build, and brief heavy showers with gusty winds may pass at times. Please secure loose items, check marine and airline updates, and review family readiness plans. Even when storms remain distant, the sea can grow dangerous well before and after the worst weather moves through. Quick questions for the community as we look ahead. How can we mentor new labor leaders to carry forward Frederick Joseph's legacy of steady, principled advocacy? What investments at the cruise pier most directly turn visitor foot traffic into higher household income without burdening neighborhoods? How should policing reforms, court rulings, and community programs work together to reduce violence while protecting rights? What one step, policy, training, or infrastructure would most quickly boost local food production and resilience? How can we better communicate rip current danger to visitors unfamiliar with our waters? These and other issues are of great concern within the islands. What do you think are some good solutions? Let us know your thoughts by texting your comments to 1-315-898-1449. You can also join our WhatsApp group and get the news, weather, and other insightful information delivered right to your smartphone. To join, text JOIN to 1-315-898-1449. Please include your name in the text message. You will receive a call to verify your request. I'm your reporter, DKS, signing off for DGHradio.com. Remember, DKS and DGH, together we dream kindly, speak deeply, and give hope, because on DGHradio.com, the news never sleeps. Goodbye for now. Ciao.